today's webinar, Professor Gauramma IP. A brief introduction about her. Professor Gauramma is at present heading the Department of Education at the Regional Institute of Education, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, which comes under NCERT. She has to her credit MEd, MSc and PhD degrees. She has over 25 years of teaching experience. In addition to regular teaching experience, she has provided support services to various students with disabilities. She has published books and articles in national and international publications and completed 8 research projects. She has visited a number of foreign countries and spoken on issues concerning education of children with disabilities. Here on this online platform.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay.
Welcome, you're welcome.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Respected dignitaries of Pondicherry University, all the organizers, very, very good afternoon, and good afternoon to all the viewers. I don't know if I have to give few minutes break. It was continuous from 11 o'clock. You are on this platform, but participants seem to be very, very engrossed and giving lots of wishes that the program is going well. It's heartening to see you have organized a program. Though very short, it looks like you could hold the audience engrossed into this short duration. As you were listening to the earlier speakers, scholarly lectures were delivered already. Initially, Vice Chancellor Professor Murthy also could speak and throw light on the areas of Gandhian philosophy and its relevance each day. And Professor Aarti and Professor Srivatsav also, Ashish also, I was listening and in between. And it is very enlightening for me. I don't know, I'm continuing that with a very specific focus of Gandhi, because as the full webinar is on Gandhi and women, I thought of talking about Gandhi from the point of view of Kasturba. Shall we go ahead?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gandhi has exposed himself and he has claimed that his life is an open book. And this has given ample scope for people from various fields to enter into his pages of life, pick up instances and analyze him. And it was a lot of critical analysis has gone on his strong proposition on brahmacharya, upavas, satyagraha, life of hardship, simple living, his food system, eradication of untouchability. We can go on and on into his strong ideals which he has propagated. And he is discussed on the perspectives, various perspectives on education, women as we are doing today, science, technology, untouchability. Several issues are discussed, and there may not be any other person in the pages of history as Gandhiji on whom everybody could take something from his life and enrich their academic area, be it psychology, sociology, education, women's study, journalism, political science, wherever it is, he can enter into those spheres and flourish and get enough knowledge and reflection to us into what we are looking for. And I feel looking at him from a very critical angle and as Mahatma, some of the simple lessons from an innocent man we are missing. So today I thought, let us look at Mohan and Kastur as a simple husband and wife and see what shaped the Mahatma from Mohan. Through Kasturba's anecdotes, I want to bring out an analysis and draw certain inferences. As we go down the memory lane, Professor Srivatsava was, Ashish ji was telling time and again that we have to situate this discourse not in the present social context, but we have to go back 150 years back. We have to. It's a beautiful occasion for us to regress and live in that time, because we have to really look at the instances, whatever is happening from that angle, then only it becomes more meaningful to us and it becomes very dear to us, the persons whom we are talking to. So here is I'm making a small effort to sketch the elusive Mohan from the angle of his wife. And who else can understand, through whose eyes else we can see a husband to know the perspective of women. I felt through viewing Mahatma or Mohan through the eyes of Kastur would give us a better chance to analyze him and interpret him from, to know what is his perspective on women. I'm going through, I have taken certain vignettes from their life, right from the beginning of their married life till the end of their married life, almost like 1940s, beginning from 1880s to 1940s. I have taken slices, like a cross section. I have taken 4 vignettes here for today's discussion, and from some vignettes are very, very familiar, maybe, but I have to give a analysis to these vignettes from my own angle. I have struggled to keep myself as a woman, as a wife, and as a admirer of Gandhi. I have struggled to keep these 3 parts of me aside when I'm trying to give a very objective analysis. I'm assuming so, however, but you know, interpretations can be multiple, and you are all free to have your own views and ideas. We can see if possible, we can have little discussion at the end about this. When I'm before beginning, I also want to acknowledge the people who have contributed to the resource on Gandhi and Kasturba in the web. I would like to especially mention about 2 books which I referred. One is Aparna Basu's, a scholarly writer, Dr. Aparna Basu, on Kasturba Gandhi, and another one, I Am Kastur in Kannada, by Dr. H.S. Anupama. I acknowledge their contribution, which made me easy to sail through this journey. So the first anecdote. 2 children at an age when they were playing the game of husband and wife, either taking roles or by using dolls, they got engaged. And they got married when they were just entering the teenage. We all know even the bodily perception has not emerged at that age, they get married. And Kastur gets so much of lesson from her maternal home as to how she has to behave in the home of her husband. And Mohan was no less. He had several restrictions on her, and one of the restriction was, you cannot go out anywhere without my permission. Phrases like, you don't know, you don't understand, listen to me, keep quiet. These were all frequent utterances of Mohan to Kastur, to the irritation of young Kastur. But she would do as she wanted to do. She wanted to go to her mother's place, go to her friends, go to the temple. She would go. In one of these occasions, when Kastur goes to a temple with Putali Bai, Mohan gets so angry on her return, and he shouts at her, he scolds her, how he could go without his permission. And that was the first time a young Kastur asserted. She just asserts, who is elder, you or your mother, if I have to go out to the temple with the elder of the family, why should I take your permission? And this assertion, the assertive statement by Kastur, made Gandhi reflect. He did not restrict her after this incident. We can see, like, we have to again situate this incident happening in a like 140 years back in a social milieu which is rooted in inequalities and gender stereotype. Imagine a husband was questioned by his wife, but it did not mobilize Mohan to harness on the gender-based stereotype and the structural inequalities against Kastur to manipulate the reality. He could have done it very easily. He could have manipulated the reality and he could have made Kastur follow what he wanted to do. But instead, this incident made him reflect on the episode and he started accepting the individualism of a person. Mohan could see neither a wife, nor a woman, nor Kastur. Rather, he saw a individual who was asserting to go ahead with the simple rights what she believed in. And probably this has given Gandhiji the strength to understand individual and to give them their rights, which made him develop the collectivism in society, bringing people together on a for a collective goal and march towards success throughout his life. But the lesson could be from here, he could see through a woman's angle that freedom of action is their right too. He did not question, and that was the last time he restricted her also. The second incident, which I'm going to say, is this happened in South Africa, and this is a very famous incident, which in fact transformed the life of the couple. When they were living in South Africa, they used to have lots of guests, and there was a rule in the house that everybody has to work in the house and everybody's work. There was nothing that I have to do my work, you have to do your work. There was such a beautiful way of together doing the work. In one of those days, there was a guest in their home who forgot to clean the toilet pot. And Gandhi, without any remorse, without any second thought, he calls Kastur to clean the pot. Though Kastur went with him to clean the pot, Mohan could see and the reluctance with which she was supporting him in cleaning the pot. And Mohan could not tolerate this, and he pulled her hand and he screamed, "You cannot stay in this house when you are not able to understand and respect the people, until you respect everybody." So it was like he said, "I will not tolerate the differentiation towards others." And with this screaming, he pulled her out. Though initially Kastur cried, she could ask a question like, again, with all courage, she did not show her submissiveness when she asked this question. She asked, "Where should I go? I came to a foreign land thinking that this is my home, this is my family, and I'm going to stay here. Now, where should I go?" She asked him, "Are you not ashamed of your behavior?" This was the question she asked. And after that, both realized their mistakes. Because for Kastur, it was a conflict between the traditional upbringing and matching with the husband's ideology. So in this conflict, she used to err, and she realized that mistake, that yes, this is the cause we are fighting for in this foreign land. And if I am not able to understand that and support the cause, what am I? That was the realization she had. And For Mohan, it was a great revelation. Like this instance actually revealed to Mohan how abusers mobilize structural vulnerabilities related to race, nationality, gender, and the institutional inequalities against the victim to erode their realities. This is what goes on. The vulnerable people are are considered that they can be oppressed, they can be given against. So he realized that these are cruel tactics to rely on the association of vulnerability and irrationality. That was his understanding of the instance, wherein he tried to suppress on a person who was weak, who was vulnerable, who was helpless in that situation, and he felt this is a very cruel way of treating a person. He again did not see a wife, a woman, or anybody. Rather, it was he saw a oppression of a person on a vulnerable individual. Kastur actually mirrored Mohan on his action, being opposite to the cause for which he is fighting for in South Africa. From this, maybe Gandhi could understand the pain, that he understood that pain is not just physical. When somebody is tortured in the jail or is getting punished by the mob in a fight for social injustice, which they were doing, he also realized that pain is humiliation and subjugation of the individual. Pain can be instilled by humiliation to the individual also. For this pain, actually, Gandhi speaks again and again, and his autobiography also, where he strives to become Bapu, father to all, a figure that truly wants to embrace humanity. He developed to become a person who could embrace humanity. He just did not stay at being a human in the shadow of worldly pleasures and the human weaknesses. These were the instances which, through a woman, he could see that she could mirror the situation wherein he could raise above becoming a pleasure seeking, a weak human being, rather to become a person who could embrace humanity. So let's go to the third vignette. This is the instance again, the next phase of their life when they came back from South Africa, and they were in Sabarmati Ashram in India. And this instance, let me just tell you a background. This ashram, Kasturba was one of the lady who was taking control of the kitchen, the guests who were coming, in addition to actively participating with the political reforms and political thought discourses which was happening, taking time to spend with the people who come there, lots of discussion. In spite of that, she was very active, and he was a taskmaster in kitchen. Though she had many helpers in the kitchen, she would take the upper hand in managing the kitchen. And it used to be, knowing a public figure like Gandhi, we can very well imagine that several guests used to come to the ashram without notice sometimes, and when the kitchen is closed. I could see a neighborhood house or our own house when I was reading this instance, and see how we can see a simple husband and wife at every stage, as though we consider them as Mahatma and Bapu and Ba and all these things. They also lived a very simple life, and their process of life was also going on in a very simple way, like any neighborhood household. And once it so happened that Kastur had closed the kitchen, and her helpers had left, and she had just got to retire to take little rest. That was the time when Mohan comes to know that some guests are coming, that two high profile guests like Motilal Nehru was one of the members who was coming, and he'll rush to the kitchen and he'll find out if they can prepare lunch for the people who are coming. And when he realized that Ba is taking rest, he will very silently, he'll be very careful not to disturb Kastur. He'll call for the assistants and tell them, don't disturb Kastur, but you have to prepare meal for so many people. So quickly the kitchen activities started, and it so happened that in between a plate fell. What should not have happened, it happened, and Kastur woke up and she was surprised. Who's there in the kitchen? She thought it might be a cat which is playing some mischief there. And she rushes to the kitchen and she was astonished to see the volume at which the work was going on, and she was not called for. Anyway, she took charge of the situation. Lunch was served, and when after the guests left, when she found time with Mahatma alone, she will take him to task. Why didn't you call me? Do you think I am such a lazy? Do you think I am not able to manage more work? What is the reason why you did not call me? And Gandhi was so innocent. He says, Ba, don't you know I'm afraid of you at this type of time? Because his earlier instances has shown him that Ba used to get angry when suddenly guests come, and this was no new situation, and he very clearly expresses to her that I was afraid, and it is true. If at all Gandhi was afraid of anybody, it was to Ba. He was really afraid of Ba because she was one of the very few people. He says there were only 3 people in his life who could find his fault and tell it to him. One was Mahadev Desai, and one was Rajaji, Rajgopalachari, and the other Rajgopalachari. They were never together always. Whenever he used to come, he was a guru who used to guide him on the right path. Kastur was one of the person who had all the privilege of finding out his fault and telling, and Mohan had the courage to accept what she said, to reflect upon what she says, and come in the right path of his progressive journey towards humanity. What he learned from home, he used it for the larger purpose. This anecdote actually speaks of the deep bond between Mohan and Kastur, a relationship that is built on friendship, care, and mutual respect. Gandhi as a person not only respects women, but he feels for the struggle of theirs at home and also outside. That is why he believed that women can come out and shoulder our responsibility in any bigger goal, because he had seen the struggle they had. It could be at the time of menstruation, the time of childbearing, the time of child rearing, or putting together the household chores. Women he understood that there is a struggle, there is lot of hardship in the life of women, and that can make them leaders outside also. I'll just take, Ashita, you can remind me if I'm passing the time. I'll just take another vignette, or should I conclude? One more vignette.
You can take, ma'am, it's fine.
Okay. This is last vignette I thought I will narrate to analyze. This is the time when, this is almost 1938 or 40, during that time, when Mahatma Gandhi with his small group of people had come to Orissa on a mission. One of the objective was to educate people about untouchability. Durga Ben, Mahadev Desai's wife, and Kastur, as everybody do when they came to Orissa, they visited Puri temple, Jagannath temple, which is very natural. And when Mohan came to know of this, he was deeply saddened and he took to fasting. As we all know, the way Gandhi used to show his any of his feeling, he never used to show on others. He used to own the responsibility of everything on him. And once this instance also, he goes into fasting, and Kastur really feels, what did I do? Why did I go to a temple? Why should I visit a temple which is not open to the untouchables? Because that was the cause for which they were fighting too. And it was again, Mohan didn't say anything, but his sadness, his punishment to himself made Kastur realize that how I could not see the larger cause, and I went into the temple. Again, the same conflict of the traditional upbringing and growing up, and then the clash with the ideology. It happens in our lives also if we see, but we take less time to reflect upon all these things. Thus, after a long time, we can understand that the beliefs, the cause, the soul of Mahatma and Kastur became the very belief system, cause and soul of both. And it was, we can see them as one with the purpose and the way they were fighting for all these causes. They learned from each other, they grew up together, they grew old together, and they marched towards the dream of free India together, and they even now they live in free India in the hearts of every Indian. I really wish, and I'm sure that they continue to live in every human being by starting a new tradition of respecting each other, showing care, concern in every care, concern, respect in every intimate relationship, and learning from each other in a close relationship. And the easiest way to self-actualization is caring and respecting and understanding relationship. A very intimate relationship can take us towards self-actualization. So just to conclude, as a sociological phenomena, if we observe, it is the macro level social inequalities usually we see that gets transformed into the larger sociological actions which are going on, get transformed into the micro level strategies. But we can see Mohan transcending to become Mahatma by applying the micro level strategies to fight the social inequalities, and the lessons learned on individualism at a micro level, he could use it to move the nation towards freedom struggle, to build a collectivism, to build a collective conscience among the people of the nation. Sociologically placing this phenomena in the cultural, structural, and institutional context would really give a new perspective of human relationship and development. This is the lesson we can learn from the simple life of Mohan and Kastur while analyzing the perspective of Mahatma on women. Again, I'm submitting to you. I try to keep myself away while analyzing and interpreting, and this is my interpretation. I'm sure you will have your own way of looking at it, because our interpretation always get colored by our previous beliefs, actions, knowledge, interactions, and the environment we come from. So as Gandhi has already exposed himself to everybody to have our own interpretations and drawing of conclusion, we are all free to do it if time permits, and if Ashita agrees, maybe one or two reflections we can have if there is time.
Yes, I take the privilege to reflect on your excellence. You have done a marvelous kind of perception with which you have exposed to so many intricacies that are to be realized in understanding about the Gandhian self-actualization. Beautiful. I'm very happy to listen to you. The self-actualization theory was approved by the Elena Rostrom, a great lady, political economist. She said, the lady, that microeconomic understanding helped, Gandhian microeconomic understanding helped me
Yes,
to draw lessons for
true.
help out the macroeconomy.
Very true.
Beautifully explained. I'm very, after seeing help written to you, I'm very happy about it. I'm very happy again that you are imposing the audience to understand about the self-actualization theoretical setting that Mahatma erected. That's very, very important aspect that you touched. By just highlighting the relationship between the simplest husband and simplest wife, encountering with variations, various differences, that Gandhiji was so friendly and he was very, very easily dealing with. Finally, he apologizes to Kasturba in the last phase of his life. Kasturba was taken very close to Mahatma. Mahatma could not leave Kasturba, when he was facing a death, time. Mahatma was revealing again the wisdom that Kasturba gave me, transformed me, he said. Transformed me. If my wisdom also transformed due to Kasturba. And such a great recognition that Mahatma really expressed on, Kasturba Gandhi. I am very happy that three speakers fantastically expressed their views, and still youngsters are remaining in our webinar. Our Vice Chancellor is remaining at webinar. Just now our cultural director joined me. Welcome our cultural director, and you can also have interaction with the audience if at all they ask some question. Thank you very much, Gaurav. Very good, very good, very good, very good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this concluding reflections. This really added to
Thank you,
my
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for that beautiful analysis of the lives of two individuals who happen to stay together, Mohan and Kastur. And personally and frankly speaking, to me, it was like listening to an enchanting story. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. So, ma'am, shall we take up one or two questions?
Sure.
So I can see a question by Dr. M. Kalpana Murahari, who says that after these many years of independence or freedom, it was dream of Gandhiji that women, when they come out alone at midnight, they should feel safe. So has that day, can that day ever come in the real independent India? Is the dream of Gandhiji fulfilled?
We know it's a, I don't know if I have to answer it or anybody can. I'll just say, we know the reality. And today, the situation, the societal situation, how it is. So I can only say, we have to create a situation, or let there be discussions, debates, arguments to understand Mahatma, so that every small instance we have to reflect. We have to question our own deeds. So it's not easy, but such an opportunity can be created right from young age, so that we can hope for a day where all of us can walk any time of the day or night freely in this country.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Another question is from Gunjan Chaturvedi, who asks, though there is no doubt that Gandhiji had a deep love for Kasturba, but what are your comments on this autocratic attitude of his?
I see, this is again, I don't know who's the person, Ashita, whose question is it?
I can see only the name Gunjan Chaturvedi.
Okay, Gunjanji, I'm sorry, I need to clarify what exactly, or based on which episode you want to say the autocratic attitude of Gandhiji, because again, as I say, we can look at instances from various angles. So I did not understand autocracy where, in which instance, what is the background, and what is the consequence. It's not that Gandhiji did not do any mistake, we know, but he reflected on the mistakes and he saw that he never repeated the mistake. He understood because of his reflection. I don't say that he was not blunt or not cruel in certain instances. Right from his young days, if you see, we have hundreds of instances where he has shown to all of us that how he was, he had taken to bad habits, he has stolen money and what everything, but he used to confess and he used to reflect, and all these vignettes also which I said is same to say, like autocratic husband he wanted to be and he was. And Kastur at one time says, if Mohan and me did not go out of India, she doesn't even talk about her, she says, if Mohan had not been to England and South Africa, he would have been a very typical husband, showing all the what do you call that? I don't know. I'm getting a word in Kannada. Oppression, na dabbalike we say in Kannada. Who loves to control and suppress the individual who is sociologically at a lower strata as a belief, as a sociological belief.
Thank you for the response, ma'am. The last question is by Chandrakant, who says that if Gandhiji was that much concerned about untouchability and Dalits, why did he oppose separate electorates for Dalits? He did hunger strike opposing separate electorates. Separate electorates would have actually empowered Dalit women a lot, who are most oppressed at present.
I think we really need to take much more information on this, and to be frank, I didn't understand the question, Ashita.
Ma'am, I'll repeat. He asks if Gandhiji was that much concerned about untouchability and Dalits, why did he oppose separate electorates for Dalits?
Probably he was, I don't know, I'm sorry, I may not be able to give a very clear, in a form of answer. I can just give my reflection. Maybe he thought there should not be a division or a differentiation, rather it should be all are equal, that kind of a thing.
Exactly that. 1932, Mahatma really went far past by highlighting this issue, because reservation was made for entering into parliament for SC/ST sections actually. He thought it will give a permanent stigma on them. What is seen today in politics is that. Do we really serve the SC/ST in the real sense? Because the stigma is still there. It is continuing. That he wanted to stop there itself. That is how we should look at Mahatma. His perception misunderstood later. This is my interpretation, of course. Everyone will understand. This is still continuing. The agony is continuing in the name of caste system. I know the great entry to parliament or whatever that you call is not really helping of the community. This is what Mahatma predicted actually.
Yes.
But that only went far past. We have to understand that way. Okay, thank you very much.
True, sir. Thank you so much. That stigma, he never wanted stigma on anybody. He didn't consider anybody as untouchable or a woman or weak or anything. He really valued the individual right and the value of the individual.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for that enlightening lecture. Thank you very much.